Hi, and welcome to Stupid Politics. We have a special show this evening. We are live. It is Monday, February 16th. We're going to take calls in a few minutes, but first I'd like to let my panel introduce themselves and explain what we were doing. We are volunteers that had done a show called Stupid Politics. We've had great success with it. We've had Attorney General Greg Zeller on. We've had former congressmen on this show. We're just trying to have open and transparent government and have people be a part of the process. And tonight was about candidates running for GOP chair and the working group. And we'll get back to that. But first, I'm going to let my panel introduce themselves because I think everybody, my name is Melissa Lineberry. I'm the host. I'm also a precinct committeeman in Allen County. And I'm going to let them introduce themselves. Then we'll talk a little bit more, and then we'll start taking calls. And remember, we're live, and it's Monday, February 16th. So please stay tuned.
Hi, I'm Michael Davis. I'm a precinct committeeman from precinct 168.
And Jim Martindale, precinct committeeman, Springfield A, a resident of Leo Cedarville area.
Hi, I'm Roberta Galloway, and I'm a precinct committee woman for precinct 460.
Jim, as my co-host, I'm going to let you explain what we had set this show up to do and what is going on, and then we'll give out the number, start taking some calls, and see what fun we can have tonight.
All right. Thanks, Melissa. The format is going to be a little bit different than what we had expected or anticipated, or shall I say hoped. Our goal, as Melissa's already related, is to improve transparency of local government, especially in regard to the GOP. And in anticipation of that and the March 7th reorganization meeting, which occurs in this county for the GOP, we anticipated having prospective and actual candidates for the county chair seated around this table tonight. Unfortunately, there's been a lot of, shall we say, posturing going on for a job which apparently is really not that desirable a job. The present county chairman, Steve Shine, emailed me early last week and declined the opportunity to join us. Others who have been some who have actually written letters of intent to the Secretary of the GOP in Indy have declined the opportunity. Now, at the same time, we wanted to make sure that others who were seeking opportunities of service in the GOP as chairpersons of the working groups in this county also had an opportunity to appear. And maybe we will hear from some of those folks, but as you've heard in the identification of our little dossiers around the table, we're all precinct committeemen, but none of us are actually posturing ourselves as candidates for any of these positions. However, our goal has been, as fellow precinct committeemen, to make sure that you know as much about these candidates and their views as is possible. And so we're going to take your calls. We're looking forward to some good discussion, lively discussion, and we may even hear from some prospective candidates for some of these various positions in the Allen County GOP. And that caucus, again, will be March the 7th. Maybe, it's a possibility, we don't know this for sure in terms of scheduling, we may be able to access television coverage again. It may not be a call-in show. But we will continue our efforts to try to bring you as much opportunity to learn about individuals who are seeking public service in the GOP as we possibly can. That's an overview, Melissa and viewers. We welcome your calls. I know some of you have already been calling, and so we wait expectantly. We will do our best to try to describe the process. And beyond that point, obviously none of us are prepared, or can we talk or speak for any of the candidates or prospective candidates for Allen County GOP or any of the working group. So, with that...
But on that note, Jim, I do want to say people can call in and say, who they'd like to run, who they're voting for. If you want to tell us that information, you could say why you like someone. I'd like to keep it a fairly decent conversation, based on policy. I'm going to go ahead and give out the number now. It's 422-8708, and we'd love you to call in with thoughts, concerns. If you have any thoughts of why candidates are posturing, as Jim says, maybe if you tell us who you want to run, maybe that person's watching, because we took it upon ourselves to call all of you that are watching, and everybody that's precinct committeemen that's not watching, to try to get this to be, so that we could see these candidates and have someone to vote for and know what they stand for, and, be able to ask some questions. And unfortunately, we don't have that opportunity, but that doesn't mean that we can't discuss what we'd like to see, so that maybe when March 7th comes, we will have a better understanding if some candidates do come at the last minute. Jim, I think, has the rules. They have until 72 hours.
Yes, Melissa, I thought I might, while we wait for our first caller, I thought I might read some briefly from the state GOP rules concerning the selection of the county chair. It says, in order to run for the office of county chair during reorganization, which is what we're talking about, March 7th, a vacancy in midterm, or a person must file a written declaration of candidacy at least 72 hours prior to the caucus or reorganization. This document must be received by both the county secretary and the state secretary of the party prior to that 72-hour deadline. In the event that no one files for the office of chairman, nominations will be made from the floor, and Robert's Rules of Order will be followed. When there are multiple candidates, the person with the lowest number of votes, etc., etc., and it goes through the procedures in terms of how the final election is to be taken place. So at this point, there is one candidate, and that is present standing chairman of the GOP in Allen County, Chairman Steve Shine, who has filed that paperwork. And
we've heard other names mentioned. We invited the ones we had heard. We're not going to mention names. If they want to call in, we'd love it. Tell us why you decided not to run, or why you were thinking about running, just so people know. And but we only have Steve Shine running at this moment, and we wanted the opportunity to be able to question him and other candidates, but unfortunately, as we keep saying, we don't have enough information. Some have dropped out, some haven't made up their minds, so we're not gonna mention any names at this point. Like I said, call in.
You know, Melissa, one of the things that I would find very interesting, just sitting here, would be for our viewers who have feelings about the type of person, they have some personal, how do I put it, to represent, well, let me go back just a little farther. As a precinct committeeman in any political party, you really represent all the people in that precinct, which could be up to 1,000 voters or more. And so it is that as these elections take place, as people are selected for working groups and to do the business of the political party, that the grassroots, as we often talk about grassroots in GOP circles, the grassroots becomes a reality. And so, we talk about transparency. Well, what do we really mean by transparency? Does that mean that you have an elected official who shows you the color of his underwear? No.